Welcome back. In this video, I share with you an inside look at the consciousness of Joe Biden. We're going to take a look at spiral dynamic stage blue, so stay tuned. This is a very special edition of Spiritual Actualization. I'm Rucker. I've got my green tea. Let's get into it. Love him or leave him, Joe Biden is exactly who he is. And that's a hallmark of a stage blue person. They are not trying to move the needle. They are going to be what they are going to be. Stage blue and spiral dynamics values safety. It values being established. It's the security of knowing what is that really motivates this stage blue type person. Now, understand that doesn't mean they don't want progress, but it means that they're going to take it slow. They're going to be very careful. They're going to be very inclusive. They're going to try to make sure that everyone is in agreement. Why? Because for a stage blue person, right and wrong absolutely matters. They care about following the rules. They care about making sure that things are as things are supposed to be. This is the stage you'll find a lot of fundamentalist Christian and other religious people in, is this idea of this is right, this is wrong. I've got to have some rules to go by. In fact, a stage blue person needs order. They need the rules in order to feel secure, in order to have a sense of safety and of well-being. Unlike stage red, where that person is completely lawless and they're just like, I'm going to get what I need. A stage blue person is going to say, let's get what we need in the way that we're supposed to get it from a rule book. That's why those in stage blue value the Bible so much, because it's clear. Well, another topic, right? Well, for them, it's clear. They know that if I follow the 10 commandments, I'm good. I'm drawing within the lines, and that's what drives a stage blue person. Now, we'll continue to do more videos on spiral dynamics and just dive a bit more deeply into the stages, but I want you to understand this in the context of our political landscape, understanding the candidates that we have before us. Right now, the consciousness of America is being driven backwards down the spiral. So, of course, the spiral, you can go in either direction. You certainly can advance, which takes time, and you can certainly regress, which also takes time, just not as much. So whenever you have a catastrophic event, like, for example, dealing with COVID-19, the consciousness of the collective absolutely regresses to more base or fundamental levels. Why? Because it's all about survival. What can we do to survive? This is why in times of trouble, strong leaders are chosen, because they can get the tribe in line. If you think about this idea of how do you survive in a tribal age, well, you follow the leader, you stay in line, and their authority, their leadership keeps you safe. Well, a stage blue person in their consciousness is still very tribal in that sense. Understand the initial stage is instinctive, which is beige, individualistic, right? But the next stage in the spiral is purple, which is that tribal stage. And this model recognizes that people go between the two, the stage of being very individualistic and being very collectivist or tribal. And so stage blue puts us back on that other end, where stage red, it was all about me. Stage blue is, it's all about us. And while, of course, you could debate, well, Joe has some drive in him and he's still very entrepreneurial, so we could say, that understand that the stages, even within the color, it still is a stage. So there's a spectrum within. And yeah, he does have some of that. You could even call it stage orange entrepreneurship. And he has that. And his actual stage where he really falls is more stage blue. And I would say anyone in like the Bible Belt, some of the rural communities, those type of places tend to be more blue. And I'm speaking of spiral dynamics blue, not Democratic Republican blue, but spiral dynamics blue. Why? Because it's what they know. There are safety in numbers. Venturing outside into the unknown is literally dangerous. Particularly think a couple hundred years ago. If you ventured into a unfamiliar territory, the existing tribe could capture you. You could run into an animal that could eat you or kill you or whatever. You could fall off a cliff because you didn't know it was coming because it was nighttime and it's dark and there are no lights. Like, all of these things are danger. And so for your survival, it's best to stay with the group. It's best to follow the direction of the leader. So understand that Joe Biden is really stage blue to the T. He is saying, you know what? Let's get people on board. We don't have to change very much. We can move forward step by step. Whereas a sage red person is like, give me what I want. And if you have a sage orange person, they're like, no, let's innovate. Let's try something new. And to be very candid with you, I really wrestled with who to choose as the sage blue political figure. Because Bernie Sanders is, in many respects, very establishment in this way, a very much a blue, not me, we kind of person. But this is a different type of collectivist idea because he is trying to push the needle. He is trying to move us forward and forward very quickly. So I didn't pick him for this one. I'm still wrestling on where I'm going to put him. So stay tuned because we've got more videos coming. But returning to stage blue and Joe Biden, the stage blue person, well, they're going to be reliable. You tell them, you know, this is what I need done, they're going to do it. But they want to be controlled. They want to have specific direction. They want to feel, again, that safety of knowing, that comfort that comes from things being as they've been. Now, this is not a downer for Biden. I'm not putting him down saying, oh my gosh, he's the worst candidate ever. This is not saying that stage blue people are bad or that they're undeveloped. They're undeveloped in the spiral model, but you know what I mean. I'm not saying that they're Neanderthals in a negative way. Like, that's not at all what this means. It's just part of the spectrum. And again, as I said in the previous video, we need to integrate this into our consciousness for those of us that are at higher levels. So understand, this is still a tier 1 kind of level. There's the tier 2 where things begin to integrate. And at tier 1, the other challenge is you always think your way is the right way. You're not really able to understand other viewpoints very well. And with this lack of understanding, it creates some divisions. So for stage blue, it's either us or them. There's kind of no in between. Like, the collaboration is hard. It's a challenge to be a person that understands different perspectives because you view your perspective as the right one. And you do this as a self-preservation mechanism because you so wholeheartedly believe in doing what is right. Being good is so important at stage blue. This is why in the debates you see Joe Biden would say, yeah, and my time is up now. And everyone's looking at him like, Joe, keep talking. But he's like, no, I'm going to be a gentleman. And that's just so stage blue. They're going to follow the rules. Now, again, there's a spectrum, right? So at the beginning of stage blue, you know, if it's midnight and you are walking out with your friends and you come to a red light, you may just wait for the light to turn green so you can go. You know how they have that red hand, don't go, and then the walk guy appears and some of them move, some are stagnant. Yeah, this stage blue is going to wait for that person because it doesn't matter if anyone's looking or not. They're going to do the right thing. Whereas when you get to a later part of the stage blue, same stage, but a later development closer to the orange stage, that person may look around and say, well, you know what, I've assessed the situation. In most situations, what we would do is wait. But because, so you're getting that reasoning in there, because it's midnight and there's no traffic and no one is around, we can go ahead and proceed because we've looked both ways. So you see how they put these safety nets? So they may progress. They may be a little edgy, crossing the street at midnight when no one's looking. Like, they may do that, but it's not their norm. It's not where they're centered. It's not their actual level of consciousness. So this person, if we're looking at the Hawkins scale, is going to be similar to the stage red where they could be around 175, but they may also have gotten up to the level of courage or 200. They may be in that place where things are starting to change and they move into the realm of power versus force. So understand that they are definitely higher vibrationally. typically, than a stage red person, but they're still not enlightened. They're not in the love realm, 500 or any of that. And understand, again, it's a broad spectrum. I'm saying that over and over again because I want you to understand you can't say this is a cookie cutter, like everyone does exactly the same thing, because we're still individuals and each of us reflects these values and ideas in a different way. So I don't want anyone to say, okay, well, this person is stage blue, but they meditate, so they must be stage green. Or they're vegan, so they must be stage green or stage yellow or something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that way. Just because someone is a avid fitness person doesn't mean that they are stage green and a tree hugger. Like, that's not how it works. It's still very individual, and the motivation behind their action is really what matters. So for stage blue, the motivation is rightness, correctness, being good, following the rules, being part of the group. So if you look at Maslow, this is that belonging need. You get into that period where they need to have a sense of belonging and be a part of a group and have that esteem built that way. They need to be viewed by others in a positive light. They don't like criticism that says, oh my gosh, you suck, because they care. They actually care about how people view them and what others think about them. They also care about how their actions influence and affect others. And this is a very valuable trait we can all take. What does what I do, or how does what I do impact others? Well, if you can at least think that far ahead, then you probably didn't buy the 200,000 rolls of toilet paper. Yeah, can you tell I'm on that? Like, why did we buy it all? Why? I know why. Because we were surviving. We were like, I can take control. I can buy toilet paper. That's what other people are doing. Stage blue. This is what the crowd is doing. This is what seems to be right. This is what is within the lines. I understand that people are buying toilet paper and sanitizer. Yes, I probably should buy soap, but that's not what everyone is doing. So I'm just going to fall in line and I'm going to do what the crowd is doing, because I'm not going to veer too far out. If I veer too far out, I may lose my sense of belonging. I may not be included anymore. And so they're driven by that. Understand that when people panic and fear happens and something like a pandemic explodes and we have this thing happening, people are going to even regress and they're going to revert to base instincts of survival. What can I do to best survive? Well, a stage red person is going to view survival very individualistic and without thinking of how that person's actions affect others. Stage blue is still going to think, how can I survive? But it's going to be framed within the idea of the community and within that sense of belonging and what is right and wrong. What is the thing I'm supposed to do right now? So even if they didn't really need toilet paper or didn't want it, they're like, well, others are buying toilet paper, so this must be what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to do it too. A stage orange person is going to buy the toilet paper and the sanitizer, mark it up, and then sell it on Amazon. So you see how the different stages kind of intersect and the actions are driven, same actions but different motivation. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. So understanding the consciousness of Joe Biden, understand he's a good guy. He's about the community. He's about what's right and wrong. He wants to maintain the status quo. That is what drives him, keeping things exactly as they are. If you're going to progress, we got to do it carefully. We got to map it out. We got to take it bit by bit. Nothing radical, nothing too far out there. So I thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like this video. And I tell y'all every time almost, I got to do it for YouTube. I really appreciate you. I've seen the numbers going up on the likes and the subscribers. So thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so that you are alerted of when I post new videos. Like this series, this is outside of my every Thursday, Sunday schedule. So you get good stuff here. Also, please share this video. Include your friends and even your enemies, those you disagree with. Include them in the conversation, because the more we can begin to understand one another, the more we'll recognize how much we are alike and how connected we really are and how much we're just the same, even though we're totally different. Our differences make us the same. So please share this. Leave me a comment. Let me know who you would have thought of for Stage Blue. Is it Biden? Did I nail it? Or was there someone else you think may have been a better fit? Should I have put Bernie here? What are your thoughts on this? Have you studied spiral dynamics? If so, I'd love to hear from you as well and include your comments in the next video. So again, thank you for watching. As I always say, you are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. I love you. I'll see you in the next video.